You think you've seen Japanese horror. You've probably watched Ringu, Ju-on, The Grudge, Dark Water, and maybe even Noroi. But Japanese horror goes much deeper than those famous titles. So today, we're going underground. Here are 7 Japanese horror movies that are somehow still unknown, and some of them are seriously disturbing. And trust me, number 1 is not something you'll forget easily. 7. Death Water, 2006. This movie is so off the grid and unheard that there is no trailer available online. Imagine discovering a dead body, and next to it there's a mysterious message simply saying, Death Water. That's exactly where this strange Japanese horror begins. A journalist investigates a suspicious death at a nursing home, but what initially looks like a bizarre murder slowly turns into something much more supernatural. 6. Building N, 2022. Now let's move from old-school J-horror to something much stranger. A group of university students visits an abandoned apartment complex because of rumors that the building is haunted. The building isn't actually abandoned. There are still residents living inside. And as the students investigate, they encounter bizarre paranormal phenomena that turn the entire apartment complex into a nightmare. Building N is one of those movies where the less you know beforehand, the better. 5. Unholy Women, 2006. This one is cheating slightly, because it's actually 3 horror stories in one movie. And that's exactly why it's worth discovering. The stories range from supernatural creatures to disturbing relationships and psychological trauma. But the first segment, Rattle Rattle, is the one I want you to remember, because there's something deeply unsettling about the creature in this story. It doesn't look like your typical Japanese ghost. It feels wrong. 4. Loft, 2005. If you're looking for slow, atmospheric horror, watch this one. Loft comes from legendary Japanese director Kiyoshi Kurosawa, the filmmaker behind Cure and Pulse. A writer moves into an isolated house to finish her novel. Then she discovers that a man nearby is secretly studying an ancient mummy. And naturally, things start going horribly wrong. Soon, strange apparitions begin appearing, reality starts becoming difficult to trust, and the mystery surrounding the mummy becomes increasingly disturbing. This isn't cheap horror. It's eerie, dreamlike, and incredibly uncomfortable. And honestly, the atmosphere alone makes Loft worth discovering. 3. Merbito, 2004. This might be the strangest movie on this list. A cameraman becomes obsessed with understanding fear itself after witnessing a horrific suicide. His obsession takes him beneath Tokyo, into a massive underground world filled with mysterious creatures. And down there, he discovers a strange girl chained to a rock. He brings her home. Big mistake, because she isn't exactly human. Merbito was directed by Takashi Shimizu, the man behind Ju-on, but this feels completely different. It's psychological horror, body horror, underground horror, and pure nightmare fuel all at once. 2. New Religion, 2022. This is probably the most bizarre movie on the list. A woman loses her young daughter in an accident. After the tragedy, she begins working as a call girl. Then she meets a mysterious client who wants to photograph her body. Not in the way you might expect. He photographs her one body part at a time. and every time another photograph is taken, she begins to feel the presence of her dead daughter getting closer. Eventually, only her eyes remain. New Religion isn't conventional horror. It's disturbing, surreal, and deeply psychological. And it feels less like watching a horror movie, and more like watching someone's grief slowly turn into a nightmare.
あなたはこんな夢を私に与えた。
1. Psychic Vision, Jaganray 1998. And finally, one of the most obscure movies I've found for this list. Psychic Vision. Jaganray looks like a documentary investigating a mysterious phenomenon surrounding a supposedly cursed pop song. Interviews, television footage, investigations, strange recordings. Everything is presented as though you're watching an actual paranormal documentary. Seven Japanese horror movies that somehow managed to hide in the shadows, while Ringu and Ju-on became worldwide legends. But now I want to know, how many of these have you actually seen? And if you know another Japanese horror movie that almost nobody talks about, drop it in the comments. Because if you want a part 2, I already have some seriously disturbing ones waiting.